Hi. It's never that simple with Ramone. I'm your host. How you doing out there? It's good to see y'all. And first and foremost, I hope mentally, emotionally, you are doing the best you can. Um, and whatever piece you need, especially when it comes to social media, I think it really has helped a lot of people, but also it's been helping way more than you think. I hope you're able to do the best you can to filter what you can. Many of you have the ability to, wherever you or whoever you trust when it comes to the information that is given, you able to find those things. And I hope those are the things that you can rely on and trust in order to get the proper perspective of everything that's been going on. So I've been watching so many, so much. So many people it's interesting about social media because everyone wants to post something. Everyone got something to say. This shit isn't for everyone. It's not. So many people feel like I need to let others know what's on my mind. And this is not really your area. This is not your lane, you know? But even with that, I am I'm a little glad it got to everyone's attention because now we can't act like, well, not we, but people can't act like they don't know what's going on, which says a lot about people have this convenient amnesia about when things happen, what's going on and what's not going on. So, over the last week or so, I've been able to do a lot more just studying everything, seeing everyone how they move, what's going on, what they're saying, try to get a perspective, not for myself, just the way I observe others. They're the the frustration is so high on so many different levels, even for the people who agree that something is wrong and something needs to be done. They're trying to find ways to process it the way they can, right? And that's still not good enough for so many people that see that. Like, I see what you're saying, but nah, fuck that, right? And so, yeah, um, I wanted to start out with something. Steven Jackson, somebody considered twin. His twin they look so much alike. Actually, when I first seen the picture, I was like, oh shit, they kind of look like stacked a little bit. And then find out they kind of knew each other. They knew each other. He's here from Houston. Um, and you know, how it affected him. The first thing you see him wake up in the morning and seeing all over the news all over the world, him being kneed into suffocation and death, eventually death. So I want to post something to people who, I hear so much about people, they wish they love Black people more as much as they love Black culture, right? And I found it interesting. I found it interesting when Stephen Jackson said, look, I love all of you, and the love you have for me, if you're not down for what I'm about or things I love, that love you have for me don't mean shit. And I agree with that. I've been able to be very fortunate to have the personality and be a very welcoming individual where a lot of people of all different types rock. Over time, I felt like it was very important to make sure that if you rock with me, you have to rock with me pretty heavy around certain things, especially for things that there's really not another side to it. There's no other side to this. I will get to. I'm gonna pause there because I'm going to get to something that bothers the shit out of me, and it's simply just a word. It's just one word, one or two words. It just bothers me that I understand why, and if that, like I said, it's about people trying to figure their way out through this maze of comfortability. But in the same breath, it doesn't need to be explained. But I want to start out with a lot of people who are not black, who was able to find themselves, who was able to be impacted, who was able to find some type of fitting because they ended up being a part of the culture, as they like to say. They was able to be around black people that really accepted them and brought them in and able to feel like, okay, this is what I'm comfortable with. Because I feel like these things goes unsaid. And I wrote these things down, so I'm technically gonna be reading off of what I wrote. Y'all see I'm calm, I'm chill. Um, because I can go off, but I'd rather these words just hit. So what people fail to realize, especially when when you white, Asian, Hispanic, sometimes you see a culture that, man, what they do is dope. That shit's cool. Music is amazing. I like that style. And even if you're not around those people, those are things that you feed off of, that your friends feed off of. But now you have a bunch of friends who fed off of that, becomes that, right? But then you have people who, there are plenty of white people who grew up in certain households and certain family members, and they just never felt like they fit in. They never felt like they were accepted. They always felt like, no, something different about them, you know. And as some of those people got older, they realized that they relate more to being around different types of black people, of all different types, all different kinds. They just it's like, man, I enjoy being. It makes me feel so much better. So this is what these things have done for them. They make them feel more accepted and loved. That sense of them being welcome for who you are, because usually in the case, the ones that look like them, which is their family and friends who are white, thought they just felt like they was different from them. There are many white people who feel like hip hop saved their lives, right? They had that feeling when you had the love and for a sports franchise or a black athlete that make you feel like you could do anything. You see something like, it's interesting because look at when someone like Kevin Durant or even LeBron James from Cleveland, Ohio, Kevin Durant, who played in Oklahoma City, when they left, they just felt the sense of anger and emptiness because they don't represent their sports franchise, because it represents them and who they are as a people of the city. And those usually white people mad as shit. And talking about, what about my kids? Man, you got all them fucking white people that you can find to be their hero, the athlete. But you worried about what Kevin Durant gonna do, right? Or there's some people on the other side, like, man, if it wasn't for Michael Jordan, if it wasn't for Muhammad Ali, if it wasn't for when I grew up and I didn't know what was going on, and I see someone like Jim Brown and what he stood for, I recognize myself more with that than what my family told me what I should and shouldn't do. That feeling you always wanted to be part of the last of the jokes with the black people in school, and they seen it was great to be around. Your favorite coworker, a black person, right? Because they always showed you love and they was willing to stick up for you. There are people who, they don't like really the other white people at work, but all the black people was cool. They had fun, like, oh yeah, this cool, kicking with them. You started to use a white dude or the white girl, and you just wanted to be a part of that. And they made you feel accepted. They gave you that confidence that you feel like you kind of needed, to just knowing that you were excited to go to work, or the older black woman that you had at your job that made you feel special. There's like it was a different type of mom in your life that you just didn't have in your own mom, because maybe they was able to say something that you kind of related to more, or really needed help with for whatever part of your life you was dealing with. A lot of people really depended on things like a confidence boost. When a black person, like a black dude or a black woman, gave you a compliment of something you never heard before or felt insecure about, you know? There are white dudes out here that, it hits a little different when you see a black chick think you cute, probably want to smash. There are a lot of white girls out there's white girls out here who feel like, oh, when a dude see an ass, oh man, you got a big ass booty. You know what I'm saying? And they just talk different when they see that. It gives it this confidence boost. I'm like, oh, they got something that they didn't realize they had before. They kind of knew, but they didn't know how to feel about it. We gave you that shit. There were times where other oppressed groups needed some type of guidance. They needed an ally to help out with some of the issues that they have. And what ends up happening is they tend to look at what some of the civil rights movements and other movements that black people have moved forward with, and utilize some of those same practices in order to get accomplished what they want to get accomplished. And they looked at they utilized the things that we did throughout history, and was like, that's something that we can do also. There are people who have a certain type of struggle, and part of their struggle, they felt like, anytime people deal with some type of struggle, regardless you white, Hispanic, Asian, the best people to relate to is the black people. Because you feel like, oh, I've been through what you've been through, brother. I've gone through the same struggle. And usually for some odd reason, it, ties into being poor or broke, or, dealing with some type of oppression because of the circumstances you grew up in. And you feel like the only people that can relate to that was the black people. So you really depended on that to so you can feel better, to know that you are not the only one, that you had an ally, that they understood how it feels or what you felt. There are some people who, you know, when it comes to certain things, it's nice to have black people around because it helps with credibility. They're not the greatest at something. They was able, having a few black people around was able to unlock a market when it comes to you trying to sell something, you trying to do something, you trying to relate to a demographic that you just don't personally know how to do, and you depend on those people to really get you to the next level. Also, there are people out here who needed hope, and the black people who they was able to come across and meet, they was able to give them hope that they didn't have before, that they had family members and friends that couldn't relate to them on a certain level. These are the examples where you see a lot of white people who really knee deep in the culture, who depended on these same people. That's part of the reason why we can sit back and look and say, you have all these black friends and talk about black people but you ain't saying shit, or you ain't trying to relate, or you shaky on how to feel about what's going on with them. That's pure fuckery right there. Simple, right? Pure fuckery. And I think I wanted to start out with that, because everything else people explain, nope, simply, and all this other stuff. I don't think people realize how important it is, because I tell people all the time, black people, we were raised to know how to deal with everyone. We grew up in a household, we knew we was gonna deal with some Asian people, we knew we was gonna deal with some white people, we knew we was dealing with some Hispanic people. And we was always just, be who you are, and just bring a certain aura. And there are people who have their differences and have their same old bigot ideas, or stereotypes about, you know, but I feel like sometimes what people fail to realize is in many cases, black people feel a certain way about other people because there's a reason directly tied to why. Like the evidence shows, it's seen. But on the other side, a lot of people raised in a household to learn how to avoid black people. That's why you see other groups when they're finally around other black people, they're just so enthralled and shocked. Like, I mean, it's that they see whatever on TV or whatever was cool, what was cross, hearing from the radio or things like that. But actually being around them and knowing how layered we are, or we are as relatable as anyone else they can think of. So I got that out the way. Now I need to address people who have police officer friends. So people love bragging about having friends who are police officers. And I mean, in fact, family members, things like that. And I understand, everyone has it's a cool thing to talk about with other people, or people speak on their experiences and things they've been through, or you know, able to relate, understanding the other side of what they go through on a daily basis, and people try to do everything to protect that. They feel like it's a responsibility because sometimes they feel like the officers are the unheard bunch. They're underappreciated for what they do, even though the system is part of the reason why they deal with issues they deal with. I mean, I live in Third Ward. I sat in a meeting where they had this community and the officers were talking and just trying to figure out solutions when it comes to different things. On the surface level, some officers will, try to rock with you, and they want to talk about, how they don't have enough people and things like that. And staff, all right, cool. So some of those officers are not from the area that attend the police. But I'm not here to make excuses to make the other side feel better about any fucking thing. One thing I do not like doing, because I treat everyone like adults, because people want to be treated like. I know people, I have friends and family members who once upon a time worked around people who have different type of mental and emotional disabilities. And one thing I will not accept, and I don't do, and I don't care for, is to talk to white people like they have those same type of issues. Y'all know what the fuck we saying. Y'all know what's up. But when it comes to this, it's just it's like it's fucking trash, man. Nobody give like I'm not talking to other grown folks about a subject when it comes to life and death, like they're challenged or something like that. Y'all know what the fuck y'all hear. Y'all know what the fuck y'all see. Everything else, y'all just know every fucking thing else. When it comes to this, y'all always have opinions, but y'all know what the fuck y'all talking about. And always feel like you gotta interject yourself like you know what the fuck you talking about. It's to me it's always interesting because I can't believe people trust white people the way they trust white people when you have centuries like this. Like technically, you could say this shit is in their fucking blood. That shit that just constantly goes. That's in their immune system. The same shit they accuse black people of being for a long time. That's actually in their system. Why? Because history shows. You see why every single oppressed group is pissed off at the same fucking time? It's because white people. Whoever's been in charge, which is white people, is the one that's been doing the fuckery. And you getting the business all day, every day. I'm not feeling bad for your motherfucking ass. Don't give a fuck about feeling bad. Especially if you're not trying to provide a proper context or perspective for people to understand something, I don't give a fuck what you think. You're not telling me anything I haven't anything I haven't heard before. That's how I live. If I feel a certain way, something has to convince me to why I shouldn't feel that way. And nothing has convinced me anything else outside of like the other side of something. This is all copy and paste. It's not like, fam, I could watch the same shit you watching and know exactly what the fuck you about to say. So I put this. I'll just read this right off the page. I know people who have pride of having friends are police officers. I know they feel like it's a responsibility to show support because of what they do. What I think ends up being interesting is people know some of the officers has mental, emotional, and anger issues. Many deal with some type of PTSD. They don't hear how much of a bigot they are, and they might feel the same way. And they laugh at those racist stories. What else the fuck they gonna talk about? Since they love talking to them and listen to what they be talking about, besides other shit. They know that some have substance abuse issues and tend to have destructive tendencies. Many are probably unaware that police officers has an alarming rate when it comes to domestic abuse. Many of you become so protected knowing that all of those issues, you rather have them for the sake that you either are like them or you can't help to find ways to use to utilize things you wish you can get away with. Maybe your friends are as fucked up as you are, but they get away with the shit. Kill a nigga or two and brag about the shit. Might be investigation. You have the, you have the ability to kind of utilize your benefit of the doubt. And I think that's just trash. If you really give a fuck about your friends, your police officer friends, like I don't like where we gotta sit here and put a caveat of we know there are good officers and bad officers. Nope, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing you that favor. I'm saying that if you are what you say you are, I'm one of the good ones. Your motherfucking ass need to go out here and hold those accountable who needs to be accountable. Let the people know, the citizens you serve. Hey, look, that's not how I roll. This is shit's not gonna happen on my watch. That's how you build accountability. That's how you do the shit. I don't want to hear no other because that's the only way where people have at least feel like you got some type of credibility. Someone I follow, Bomani Jones, one of the coolest dudes to ever graze a mic to me. He's a journalist, TV personality. They always say credibility is like insurance. You don't need it until you need it. And so that's how I feel about this. A lot of people are trying to utilize something like law enforcement to their advantage to prove whatever point because you have your issues. You have your isms that you have. And so you can hide behind the police shield also. So while you bragging about having all these people in this situation, I hope you do right by them and make sure you hold them accountable. Or your punk ass friend will lose their fucking job. Or they finally, even though only 99% of the cops get off anyway. But don't be surprised something happened to them. Like people keep forgetting, man. Being an officer is just naturally a dangerous job. Everybody recognize that shit. But if you get caught up and think about, it only takes one and things like that. It's like, yo, there's way more. Think about what happened with the riots. When officers really sat there and said, you know what, I ain't here putting you in control of nothing. I don't want nothing crazy to happen, but you know what? I'm here to march with y'all. I'm here to talk to you. I'm here to rock with y'all. You see how the people felt different. The emotion just that's all people wanted. And so I just say all this because I ain't trying to plead shit. I'm demanding it. Act right. Your motherfucking ass better act right. Do better. So before I get to the next part, I want to tell you the words that I have an issue with. I'm still calm, like I ain't need to raise my voice. Y'all know what I'm saying. So my problem with all of this is I understand that you need the best looking platter possible in order to move forward in whatever process. I'm saying this because I once upon a time organized. I know how it feels to be at these jobs, and you in Texas in the food and beverage industry, and you trying to take a non-union shop and turn it into a union shop. You are fighting against a machine. People who can dictate your job, people who have national backing of other chains in other airports or around the country out and about. I understand. You have to tread lightly in order to not, because companies are not created to sit here and allow you to do anything that they don't have to do. So, I hope I said that right. With that being said, only the thing that they need in order for them not to do something is give you one fragment of a benefit of the doubt to have you hesitate on what you're trying to do. They're not here. They don't care about the logic. Everything, they care about if I can get to knock you off your block. If look, everything is about steps forward. If they can get you to take a step back, that's where they feel like they have a weakness. They can expose. And it's a difference between you not having a contract and having a contract, or you getting the contract done, or you not getting the contract done, or you being recognized to peacefully organize through the mayor and get the relation with the mayor or city council and not doing so. I've been in those situations. But the things I don't like hearing is words like peaceful and unarmed. Now, I'm back and forth about this whole, when riots happen, people say I don't condone. I personally kind of say, I don't know if I'll do it or not. I don't know if it's my energy. Like I'm just different type of cat. So I'm real chill. Like, but you never know until you're actually in that situation, right? So I know you try to play it safe by saying condone, but some of the people that try to say it is like, I'm not saying I'm telling you to go out here and riot, but I understand why you're doing it. I understand it a little bit. So I'm back and forth about that. But I will say the biggest issue is I understand for trying to relate to the majority of everyone to be on your side, you're trying to use things like peaceful and unarmed black men. The problem I have with it is what makes things controversial and real change is the imperfect citizen, the imperfect person who still wrongly gets killed for something. That to me is why when people say peaceful protest, when people say the police officers killing an unarmed black man, I'm not I'm not letting that shit just ride to make other people feel comfortable. Yeah, man, black man got killed. Had a knee on his neck and he died. He was murdered. He was suffocated to death. And they protested. like we're trying to make other people feel comfortable by saying peaceful. Fam, we didn't see. We seen the most peaceful thing you can do when people went at this motherfucker like he slapped a grandma, 90-year-old wheelchair in on an IV grandma. And he did something simple like, you know what? I sat down, I talked to somebody in the military, he told me to do, the best thing to do is take a knee, he took a knee, and people went hard at it. Which, by the way, people forgot when Kaepernick first started hitting the scene after he replaced Alex Smith, people was having issues because he was this quarterback with all those tattoos on his arm. He was kissing his bicep when he scored a touchdown. So people really already had that, and then this happened and really had a problem. They doubled, then tripled down. But with that being said, I ain't really a fan of that shit. Like I said, man, part of change is the imperfect because what and the thing about it is if this was what things like we say peaceful protests and unarmed and because that's the same thing Martin Luther King had to do. He looked at it as, hey, if we march and you see the news here and we're doing things peacefully and they still end up acting the same way they've always acted. When people see that, that's what would create the guilt of white America. And so, big picture, you kind of look at the other groups that were still hesitant, they still had their questions and concerns about certain things. But when you see a 10-minute video, 8 of those minutes of somebody being, I tell you the truth, I still didn't see the video. I don't want to see the video. I don't plan on seeing the video. I don't want to hear audio. You know, that's the type of peace I want to maintain. That's the type of innocence I want to keep for myself. You should do the same too. So when that happens, and now you have other groups finally able to kind of, come out and be like, all right, we show support. So I understand that. Just as peaceful, just saying peaceful protests and, unarmed when we're talking about black bodies, to me, like I said, it has to be, we do everything else is they could just be this straight up and this straight up. They don't have to be all these. I don't even know the English words, the name where you have to put a word in front of a word to make people feel comfortable. Because that don't leave you that because what you I understand you're trying to corner something for it to be perfect enough for the movement to go forward of other people that's not part of that or who's been usually opposed in the middle of it. You know, I don't know if people feel like, you know, I don't know, man, like random. I don't know. They oxymoron. I don't know what the fuck these things called. Adjective or it's like if you not gonna eat this burger, I'm about to give you a burger. But if I say this is a healthy burger, is that you gonna eat it now? You really want the burger now? You know what I'm saying? Wow, thank you. It didn't matter if the blood and juice was flowing off the burger with 3 slices of cheese and all this mayo slop on the side. If I say it's a healthy burger, peaceful protein, like why motherfucker? This is what it is right now. We're like off the rip. It should be this. I don't know. It's like when people talk about with black movies, equality is the ability to you have shitty black movies and still able to still create more movies. We done have so many ass white movies, trash ass white movies with big ass budgets, and they like, all right, well, let's find the next thing. There's some trash black movies out there, but that one person do that one trash black movie, they ain't gonna recover from that shit. More likely, it's not gonna happen, and then they have to do this uphill battle thing again. So, with that being said, I was thinking about something, and it's evolved around the people. There are people who are against rioting and things like that. And before I say this, I might be coming from a very spoiled position just because, like, I don't have a storefront business and my home is not being vandalized or my car is not being, all these different things. Like, um, The things you work hard for to have, random people coming through and fucking that up. I understand. Like it seems very frustrating, right? So I'm not. I'm coming from a position where I ain't really dealing with those things, and I don't plan on dealing with those things, and I don't want to deal with those things because that's just very difficult to deal with. But in the same breath, even me saying that, I could put myself in a while by saying I had to call my mom the other day, and early that morning I talked to Sarah, and I was like, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I don't care, I don't give a fuck, because I don't. I couldn't find a reason to care. I am white people when it comes to black people and drug problems in the 80s. I don't give a fuck. To see riots happen don't bother me at all. Like I told you, until someone convinced me otherwise, why riots shouldn't happen, because we have evidence to show everything else wasn't working. Y'all really didn't give a fuck. So with that being said, the reason why is, and it was a status I had put, and it was saying it's all part of the process and is necessary. What everyone needs to learn is the optics won't be perfect, but the message is sent. This last night before I went to bed, I said sleep on it. And the reason why I feel this way is this. Because earlier I posted, I don't know, it was a day or two earlier before I posted this last night. My perspective about all this is this. For people who are not a fan of writing, and they feel like they don't want to condone it, but it's like, yeah, everyone keeps trying to come up with other things, and it's like, yes, those other things but it's like, I don't know if y'all realize this, but the change is very, the change has been a crawl, fam. Like it's been 150, 60 years of freed slaves alone. And we're not even talking about when slavery first started. You add another 240 fucking years of that shit. So you have 4 centuries, and we're still talking on the simple level of shit. And what's interesting is you are always going to have different responses and different ways of doing things. This country was created because you had the people in the room able to do the talking and articulate what they're trying to get done, and then you got the muscle always with them. If you don't listen, we go to war. That's literally how it's always been. Just aggression. When white people didn't give a fuck about something, and then when they wild the fuck out. They wild out when they win something. They wild out when they lose something. They wild out when they go to war. They wild out when they want something from you. They wild out when they just don't want you to exist. They just wild out and whine like a motherfucker. So with it being said, for the people, all right, back at it. So when people were, when Kaepernick was peacefully protesting, and you had people like, mad as fuck in their feelings, all this bitch assness going on over it, over a fucking flag, over a fucking song. People hated it. People try to tie in the military. Hey man, come over here and say you offended real quick so we can get them stopped. That's what that shit was. Hey, this country is doing people of color wrong. Hey, military person, come over here. Even though it's weird because America constantly didn't mind utilizing black people for their wars at a point where black people really wanted to fight for their country. I don't remember any major story outside of maybe some benefits, things like that, but those black people came back and really felt like they were really just, wow, thank you very much for taking care of me as much as I fought the country to have the freedom to blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so what ended up happening was it caused a friction. People start talking about business and money and how they feel in their bitch ass, po ass, punk ass emotions, pussy ass emotions, right? So you have now where these riots are happening. People are not peacefully protesting anymore. And now you see people who were hardcore on the other side of shit and all in their pussy ass feelings like, you know what? See, you need peacefully protest. It's not doing justice of what you trying to do. That motherfuckers was listened to before. So, with that being said, with these riots and things happening, back to what I started with, this is a perfect time to go in those meetings in those rooms, or when you are part of those things, the Jay-Z's in the world that wanted to kind of, rub shoulders and meet with the NFL, figure some things out with the justice for change, whatever shit. Or you have other people in these rooms who felt like, when you try to approach those people about these legislators and the whatever leaders that you have in power to talk to, this perfect time to hold their feet to the fire and say, yeah, I seen what you had tweeted the other day. Say you want peaceful protests. So now that you see that you said that's what you wanted peace, you wanted to help, it's going to help find a solution if it was peaceful protests. Yeah, I see you tweet that just a couple days ago, 2020. Let's talk. Why? Is because they got cornered out here saying they wanted to what about peaceful protests? After they said 4 years ago they didn't give a fuck about that shit, nothing was going to happen. So I put this as a status. To those who are not a fan of Ramone, who wants to change peacefully, and the protests and those riots did y'all favor. It was necessary because the people who usually tend to be on the other side of issues didn't want to listen or didn't care about peaceful progress are now begging, pleading, and whining about peaceful protests. This is our opportunity to hold their feet to the fire, let them know it's time to listen. It is your time to do right by those people and step up on your end and follow up in the process. My mustache makes my nose tickle. It's trash, but I'm looking trash on the leashes inside my head anyway. So this is your opportunity, like I said, to hold their feet to the fire. What people don't realize is when a lot of those things happen and frustration, you see the next day people go out there, clean up, things like that, and they clean up the community, they'll be fine. They got it. Some people knew, like, I ain't gonna do that. They just didn't want, that's not their vibe. But a lot of people went out there, they wanted to clean up the community, to clean up the mess. They to redistribute the love to the people who needs it. But I think for those who rather articulate the message in these rooms or behind the scenes, your time is now. So instead of trying to make people feel guilty, this is your time to take yourself up in there. I ain't gonna talk to you a certain way, to go in there and do what you supposed to do what your job is designed to do. You do right by those people. Like I said, that's how a lot of these wars and all this other shit happen. You have the muscle, well, probably with the briefcase, with the banger in there, just in case it's being get a little wild, because they know it's not gonna get wild. You got the people in there to talk to make sure shit gets done. Those people who did the protesters out in the streets and the people, there's people that ran up to like, hey man, they out here fuck shit up. I'ma fuck shit up. Or you know what, let's go fuck some shit up. But they kind of, regardless of how it was, they did y'all a favor. They done made life easier for you now. Because now those force those people to tweet some shit. They want to be, why can't you do it like this? Now you put their feet to fire. Oh, I heard you want to do it like this, man. Let's try to figure this out right now. Like, it's an opportunity. Take advantage of that shit. And so, yeah. And by the way, for those who don't care, they don't mind the way things are, this one was for you. That shit hurt, don't it? So, I really been able to sit back and see what a lot of shit people post. And when it comes to social media, my issue is people when people have the ability to, you know, Facebook might be a little different because you have friends and family. You kind of find out the hard way how trash they are or they not. Twitter and Instagram, you can there's some shit that might be come across whatever because its algorithm is trash, but you can directly be impacted who you follow by who you follow. Right? You can pick that. I want to follow this person, and the problem is I see a lot of people posting shit, and you can kind of tell that they're very limited on the information where they're getting it from. See, for me, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. A lot of shit I'm saying, uh, I'm being able to kind of, like I said, sit back and just study shit. All right, I seen this. Oh, let me dig deep. Let me really find this. Let me find that. Let me read through this. Let me see. You follow the right people. You look at the people who has a good brain about this shit and get a perspective. You able to see, okay, this what's up. Instead of posting, I can't. People just posting random shit. Just put random shit with it. Like, yeah, man, these group of people hit this girl in the face type shit. And then it started come out, police maced the little girl in the face. You see people, the police officer pulled out a dude mask and sprayed him in the face. Or you see a homeless man, like you see while these buildings glass was end up getting broke, or even Target. The people in Minneapolis was trying to get milk in Target or something like that, and they were denying people get just buying milk. Target was out here like, no man, you ain't buying milk to help out the people getting tear gas in the face. And it's like, okay, fuck you then, Target. That's what I heard. I don't think it'd be it, but I'm here for the jokes. I can imagine, like, you just try to get milk. Like, somebody can be like, yo, it's a protest going on. I just need some milk for my cereal. Somebody's like, dog, because you trying to get it for people protesting the city, the police. He's like, you know what? Fuck this Target. So I hope people got as many ottomans as possible and they push shit in the ottomans and put it in the car. Why? Because I got jokes. I don't give a fuck. So, um, and I see people just post shit, and it's like, I swear, I don't think it's been some of the dumbest people I've ever been. Like, I don't think I understand how stupid people are. Like, forget calling people bigoted and racist. What people really don't like is where the intelligence is insulted. So that's why I just say stupid. You're dumb. I try not to say other words because I don't want to be that insensitive because that affects other groups of people. But just stupid and dumb. Just straight dummy. Straight up stupid. You hold no. I don't respect your ability to comprehend. I don't think you're smart. I don't think you're savvy enough. I don't think you're articulate enough to express what you need to express. I don't give a fuck. Who cares? Talk to your friends. Talk to yourself over that dumb shit. That shit don't fly on this side. And you can just tell that people don't. They're not spreading themselves out enough to get the information. And there are people who do that, but they only get the information from shit that more likely like that they rock with. Like whatever news article that represents super de-duper political views on the conservative side, they usually tend to be against this shit anyway. They're gonna watch the same shit and watch all that. Just is gonna be five of those sources, whatever those shit are. They're like, I'm really angry because I've been watching that, and some people feel like that on the other side. I don't give a fuck about this shit. All I know, this is exactly what happened, and you're gonna have people directly say it as is. Or you can just go to other people's pages and see what they post because everybody got the cell phones, right? You see people talking about all the other shit with the glass, things like that, and people coming up and say, yo, fam, this is white people in the wearing all black. Come through, we start breaking the shit. And then it took a few of us say, hey, man, what you doing? I learned, it's interesting because I learned in the process for myself too is, okay, it makes me, okay. So part of the protest, is a hands up, don't shoot. Some of the people that's getting down on the knee, on one knee, they're sitting in front of cops, they're kneeling, showing that, look at me, I'm innocent. I personally will say I'm glad that those people feel that way, but that's never been my thing. It's just I'm not gonna be in front of a cop to protest with my hands up talking about don't shoot only because I'm not giving you that. Some of those people, it's not. I don't even know if is it a weakness? Is it an ego thing for me? I could be wrong. I'm not gonna get on the knee and show that I'm innocent and look at me. I don't need to feel like I need to explain that shit. What, like, do your fucking job, do the shit right. I don't you like I said, we in order for to move forward, it has to be this approach where everything has to be perfect. The moon and the sun and the stars have to perfectly align to make this wow. In order for the people to maybe have a fragment of change of mind. That shit's the crazy part. Like like when Goku and Vegeta come together and they gotta have to figure directly if it's anything different they form. Like it has to be this type of perfectly in order for shit to just maybe you might be kind of yeah. That's that shit's crazy, yo. Like it boggles about it has to be like that in order for people to be like, yo, that's wrong. Just off like that's why I care about when the things that are imperfect that goes back into this whole peaceful and unarmed thing. Yeah, I don't know if y'all seen this, but people really been having these theories about like some of these riots and some of these things that been happening. People been having questions and concerns like, how the fuck is that happening? Like random white people start marching and they start breaking glass. She's like, yo, where the fuck they come from? Or you had this one thing, I think this dude was showing like it was a pallet of bricks, perfectly stacked up bricks, just in the middle of just out of nowhere. Like somebody put in a GTA cheat code, it was like bleep, bleep, and just landed right there in the area, right by this really nice building. And the dude was like, yo, there's no construction around here, ain't shit going around here for these bricks to be here. He's like, I know a trap when I see one. But you know what? I also think kind of conspiracy. So you know how businesses have lost a lot of money, right? And so, you know, with everything in the country going on right now, people lost an ass load of money, laid people off. Do y'all kind of think that okay, so if you lost a lot of money and you know that if something happens to your property, is insurance claims, you probably get some money from it. Y'all think that kind of, you know, you could set some shit up to where you know some shit probably go down, so then you be able to file and be able to get money for that shit? Talk to me. Yeah. See, well, all right. So yeah, I seen that theory also. So yesterday was Sunday. I'm just going. Yesterday was Sunday, and okay, all right. If you uncomfortable with getting these religious jokes off, I just guess you're gonna be uncomfortable because I've been trying to figure out since I was little, especially now more than ever. Okay, so all this happened and things like that, and you know, people I can't say go to church, but they reading the Bible, praying to the Lord, all these different things, praying. What are they exactly praying for? So the reason, all right, I say this is because of this. So we all know the history. We should know the history about how religion, Christianity was pressed on Black people through slavery and everything up to now. I have my questions, concerns. I just don't get it sometimes. I'm not really the rah rah guy. I'm never really a religious guy, and that probably almost could affect my relationship. But I guess I'm so dope, so it just made the exception for me. So hey, things happen. And so, with that being said, I like. Does Black people ever pray to God for white people to act right? Like, dear God, tell white people to stop. Like, you think could it be that? You know, could it be? You know, like because I just always be wondering that. Like everything else we pray for, everything else we scream, holler, and you know all these different things. Shout out to old boy, do that. Yeah, anyway. And I always wonder, like, yo, what are y'all, especially now? What I understand you got to struggle, but what are we praying for? Like, I can we just directly say, hey God, thank you for just a day being alive and having my family and my health. And he goes to the next part, yo, could you tell white people to stop like tripping? Like, can you tell them that we are them and like or something? Like, are y'all doing that? Because I just need to know. So I just wanted to be quick with that. Felt the way about that. So be it. But you know I'm right. That's a good ass question, huh? Um. So the more I talk and got some shit on chest, the more I kind of laugh and just get in a good mood. I was able to do something yesterday here in Third Ward, and They had Bun B and Trader Truth and Officer the Chief Arsetto, Ar- Arciato, or this is the chief of police here, and he's very passionate and things like that. And you see with Steven Jackson back in Minnesota, knowing him, and you know, kind of goes back to the imperfect person. There are people trying to find reasons and to maybe stories or whatever past things like that. Nobody get like I know people trying to if you are searching those things to understand that and you're like, okay, that's part of it, cool. But if you're searching that to try to prove you otherwise so you don't feel bad about him being murdered the way he was, then you trash. Always gonna be your trash. Your family trash, your kids trash, because you more likely gonna raise them be trash. Other shit. And I don't care. So yeah. Um but uh yeah. But it was really cool yesterday. And it started raining and uh you know, it's interesting. We see, the cops or whoever else, the military with the shields all, pumped up, ready. See, but that's my part of my thing, man. Like that goes back into like I think you just people who I bet they adrenaline junkies. Like they want to be they're probably bored with their life and what they really do on a daily basis because especially white people like calling people over nonsense. Like, and that got back to kind of what Bomani was saying. Like, people love talking about the police and how hard the job is and what they do and blah 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 blah. But if you really think that, then there's really no reason for you to call the cops over nonsense. I think if you like and respect them the way you do, they got other shit to worry about. Anyway, but with that being said, like you can tell that some they be jacked and ready. Like even some that used to be in the military, like man, they miss those days going out there and feel like they make a difference for the country because out here murdering people who might be looking like they could be affiliated with some type of terrorist group or some shit, which is weird to me sometimes because it's like women and children die because of the shit. But with that being said, it's just weird. Um, but back to yesterday, it was cool. I don't miss organizing at all. I lost a lot of, I trust myself thin. I've, it's weird because even the people I know that I've worked with, things like that, they've had it tough too, working very hard day in, day out. A lot of them still doing it now. But the type of details that I like to be involved in, especially because I was in those jobs, I was working, I had to work those shifts and then do shit after those shifts. And it's not like what I was doing was just something simple. It's not. I wasn't. It's not like I was making okay money at my job. Everything was trash at the same fucking time. And so, and just be around people you don't like, respect, don't care for. You got to talk to people that it's just like, yo, man, this shit's trash. Trying to talk to grown folks for them to comprehend something, and then their life story, and you figure that'd be something to help push and guide them for better because maybe it will help that. Nope. That's why when I say things don't be trash on purpose, you learn that people rather be trash on purpose. So um what else do I have here? I got that out the way. Oh yeah, people are just simply stupid. Um yeah, I put something like it gets interesting when people have expectations how you should act when something happens to you or someone. And when it comes to people that would never want to act like they understand, I think they made the executive decision to be simply stupid. Oh yeah, that's something not pleading. I did not act right. Um, to my friends and things like that. Much love. Even if I kind of, like I said, I've had to kind of reflect and be like, yo, I really don't feel bad. I don't care to feel bad, and you're not gonna convince me to feel any different about this shit because I think this might fall back into maybe just how I am about things. Like, also when you see things being said and how people are, you can just tell. Like, I don't think you've ever organized before. Like, and even people I know, and I try to be very respectful about that, but I don't. You learn that until you've directly been involved and done some things and kind of seen, like, especially even with things like protests or even the expectation of politics. It's like, yo, it's a long, boring process. It is just a long, boring process, and I feel like what tends to get slept on about that is you look at the major things that happen, like people going out to vote or people come together, protest, people come together, and all these different things, and those are major because that's a group thing to go do together. But the things you have to do on a daily basis, be in long meetings and long planning, and day after day, try to figure out how to gently talk to people or how to get people to the water and force them to drink the shit. It's like that shit can really overwhelm you. And the thing about it is, people think everything is so damn simple. That's why people try to. It's just people think this shit is a start and stop situation. Like you just do things here and there, or just wait till something major come up. Yo, fam, I'm telling you right now. Like even on this level, we do what we can, but in the same breath, this really comes down to just people just stop fucking up, stop doing that shit. No, I'm not pleading. I'm not begging. I'm telling you, your bitch ass gotta stop. You gotta do better. Think about this. I'm not gonna dig too deep into this because it's something for people that's their experience have to really go through. But when people, especially with women and young men who become men, they are sexually assaulted or raped. They don't have time for anything else but stop. Don't do the shit. They don't have time to try to fight to other shit because that other like that other shit don't matter. It shouldn't even fucking matter. There's no gray area to fight. No. Stop. Like simple. I feel like this. Especially when people are directly dying. Yo, I heard the best bar earlier from Shannon Sharp. When people talking about Ryan, it was like, yo, if somebody's living in hell, he don't give a care if you go to hell. It was something like that. It was kind of like, yo, you out here talking about what he should and shouldn't do and how he should do it. Yo, fam, you telling me how I should be express my anger and this could affect me, and it was like, I don't give a fuck about how you feel after that, after this shit I've experienced. Like, it's just one of those things, man. That shit's crazy. Um, I don't know. I might come back later because I'm trying to get some people to chop it up. But I kind of wanted to get that off my chest. Uh, and yeah. Um, no, you know what? Should I talk about sports? No, I'd rather get this one off my chest. I could do sports another day. Um, but yeah, man, it's never that simple with Ramone. But like ain't shit simple with y'all either. Cause I don't blame y'all. We all overthinking. And shit ain't changing because people are too damn simple minded and stupid to change and do better. Act right. I'm not begging and pleading. I'm telling you. I'm demanding. I'm saying it. And yeah, man, y'all just be safe out here and give money the best way y'all can. We out here broke. We gonna rent next couple of days, and I'm broke in the month, right? So, yeah, much love to y'all, man. Y'all be safe. And fight the power, man.